Creating trust was a hallmark of the Shellfish Management Plan process. This came through listening to and truly hearing what different diverse voices had to say. This was often a challenge, especially in tackling tough issues like competing uses and different perspectives on how shellfish are currently managed in Rhode Island.
Communication is a pretty big thing, and I think having a management plan for multiple users to me it seems obvious, but the fact that that this program has created it and done such a good job of it, it feels like it's been very successful. And I think as farmers that we tend to just sort of stay in our little plot. I think farmers in general, like there's so much to be done, you kind of tend to stay right there and do what you do. But there's a lot of important positive things that can be gleaned from having conversations from other industry members. And the fact that we are all working together to utilize a finite resource, really, I thought it was very encouraging, very heartfelt effort to make the space available for everybody.
Much of what we were doing in the Shellfish Management Project was creating trust amongst individuals who perhaps came into the process without much trust. And it allows us to have an adult conversation and really see the other person's point of view. And so I think that it allows you to become comfortable at least understanding what your opponent or have an appreciation for where they're coming from. And eventually that's going to broaden people's horizons and allow them to see other points of view.
These things, when you start bringing in a whole bunch of different folks with different ideas, they can crash and burn really fast sometimes. But this one was a very constructive process all the way through. And so I was really impressed just with the levels of collaboration and cooperation amongst everybody. And I think it worked pretty damn well.
Everybody had a voice in the process, and in the end, a really fantastic product came out of it. And that's something that absolutely needs to be mimicked and brought to the other coastal states as well. And so I would really like to see this exact same process expanded out into other states of the U.S.
The symbol that shellfish represent to people in Rhode Island served as a great advantage to the Shellfish Management Plan process. We were able to rally people around something that was truly important to them, that mattered in their lives. And this is a core feature of any successful plan. You have to tackle issues that actually matter to people.
Shellfish provided an interesting almost symbol of a creature that thrives in a healthy environment, that represents who we are, and that also has a really important economic function in Rhode Island. Everybody wants clean water. Everybody wants healthy food. With the SMP, we're able to put those together and talk about a sustainable future for Rhode Island.
That to me just speaks to sort of how much fun these shellfish are, and it was just such fun to kind of share those stories and think about shellfish, because they're fun to think about. There's something so rich and delicious about shellfish, not just literally, but also just thinking about them and hearing about how people's lives have been built around them in some cases, or enriched by them. Whether it's a professional bull raker or an oyster grower, or just somebody who likes to take their kids out into Narragansett Bay in the summer and collect some quahogs for dinner. Everybody is really enthusiastic about shellfish, and it's fun to talk about them.
The success of the Shellfish Management Plan is all dependent on a sustaining funding for the implementation and the management of our shell fisheries, not only at the state level, but also as local business. And we also, most importantly, need to have an equilibrium between all of the users of the bay, and particularly in the salt ponds. There's an appropriateness for aquaculture, there's an appropriateness for the free and common fishery, there's appropriateness for recreation, for transportation, and all of our bay and coastal pond resources have to offer. But being Rhode Island, it's a very small state, in a very densely populated state. So, we need to reach that equilibrium to make this thing work.
We have this plan, and we need to continually revisit it so that we get the guidance collectively that we need to make the harvest and restoration and farming of shellfish better for Rhode Island, rather than let it drift off into an even keel. The plan outlines how we can do that. We just need to have the time and effort and willpower to make it happen.
The shellfish management plan is far from done. Now we need to implement it. And so far I've been very happy to see that the state is taking it very seriously. It wasn't just lip service. They've prioritized the recommendations in the plan. We've already started accomplishing some of them, but there's a long way to go, and that's exciting.
The plan has been adopted. It's been supported. It's being supported by our state agencies, by the industry. Implementation is taking place of the recommendations that have been identified. You really need to be proactive on implementation and keep building that diverse stakeholder group to ensure that people understand that there is a plan, there is a commitment from all levels of society. Whether you're a citizen, you're part of the industry, or you're the governor of Rhode Island, you need to be recognize that this is an important issue for Rhode Islanders, and implementation needs to be supported and take place.
The Shellfish Management Plan really showcased a true collaboration of people who care for, manage, and depend upon shellfish, a cultural and environmental icon to our state.